Crimes happen in every corner of the world. Some of them are solved and responsible criminals are brought to face the judgment. But some crimes never get solved and are eventually regarded as cold cases. The Black Dahlia murder is one such crime that wasn't solved. It's been several decades, but the real murderer was never revealed. In this video, we're going to delve deep into this unveiled and twisted mystery that is the Black Dahlia murder. It was the morning of January 15, 1947, and the residents of South Los Angeles were going about their daily businesses. That was when a woman stumbled upon a brutally mutilated naked body of a young woman near Leimert Park. The body was severed at the waist. That and all the stories surrounding the murder gave the case too much attention to the media. What really happened to the woman? How did she meet that fate? There are many explanations, but what is the truth? Let's figure it out. Elizabeth Short was the third child of her family, born on July 29, 1924 in Boston, Massachusetts. When she was around 6 years old, her father faked his death and started a new life in California due to the losses he faced because of the 1929 stock market crash. The family doesn't get to know about this for some years to come. Meanwhile, her mother worked as a bookkeeper to provide for the family. Elizabeth Short dropped out of high school in her sophomore year. Around the time she turned 18, her father reached out to them, and she went to live with him in Vallejo, California shortly after. However, she moved out because of increased arguments with her father. In September 1943, she was arrested for underage drinking at a local bar in Santa Barbara and was sent home, but went to Florida where some of her family lived. By 1946, she was back in California. She started working as a waitress and lived around the Los Angeles area. Some say she showed aspirations to become an actress around that time, though there are no known acting jobs. Short was last seen on January 9, 1947, when she was dropped off at the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles by Robert Manley, whom she was dating at the time. She was to meet her sister that afternoon. She was seen using the telephone in the lobby by the staff of the hotel and some patrons of the Crown Grill cocktail lounge near the Biltmore. Her body was found on January 15, 1947, in a vacant lot on the west side of South Norton Avenue near Leimert Park. The body was bisected at the waist, severely mutilated and drained of blood. Entire pieces of flesh were cut off from her thighs and breasts. Her face was slashed from the corners of her mouth to her ears, generating the Glasgow smile effect. The body had been posed, her hands bent, positioned over her head, and legs spread apart. The body had been washed. The time of death was determined to be around 10 hours before the body was found. She was either killed on the evening of January 14th or during the early morning hours of January 15th. According to the autopsy performed on her body, the cause of death was revealed to be hemorrhaging from the gashes on her face and the shock from the blows to the head. The body had been bisected using a method called hemicorporectomy that was practiced in the 1930s. Even though the skull hadn't been fractured, there had been bruises on the front and right side of the scalp. She was identified by the FBI using her fingerprints, which matched the fingerprints taken when she was arrested in 1943. Media played a bigger part during the investigations to find her killer, especially Los Angeles Examiner. When her identification was revealed, they contacted her mother and told her that Short had won a beauty contest. Then, they inquired for details of her personal life as much as they could, and then only they revealed the truth to Short's mother. The Examiner took it into their control and tried to keep her mother away from police and other media outlets to their best. The Examiner, along with the Herald Express, which was another newspaper owned by the same person, William Randolph Hearst, sensationalized Elizabeth Short's murder, publishing article after article, addressing their opinions of the case, and at times, altering the true events with more interesting variations. The nickname Black Dahlia was believed to be created by the media. Some say it was a wordplay on the 1946 murder mystery film, The Blue Dahlia. Just a week after her body was found, the editor of the Examiner received a call from a person who claimed he was Short's killer and planned on turning himself in, but not before the police chased him some more. He also tells them to expect some of Beth Short's souvenirs in the mail. On January 24th, a manila envelope with some of her belongings and a message crafted with cut and pasted newspaper clippings. Among the belongings were her birth certificate, business cards, an address book that had the name Mark Hansen printed on the cover and some photographs. Just like the body, this package also had been cleaned with gasoline. Even if some fingerprints were found on the envelope, it was compromised in transit, leaving it ineffective. Some more letters were received by the examiner allegedly from the Black Dahlia killer, including a suicide note. Over 150 suspects were produced and questioned at the time. Initially, 60 confessions, and over time, more than 500 confessions were made by various people claiming the crime. But the responsible criminal was never found. Among the suspects were Mark Hansen, who had been an acquaintance of Short, George Hodel, who was accused by his son of killing her, Jeff Corners, Leslie Dillon, and Robert Manley. The involvement of many of those suspects was discussed by books and other publications issued years and decades after the murder took place. Elizabeth Short's murder case is unsolved. However, it had many lasting cultural conspiracies that speculated various theories concerning her murder. Her life and death have been hypothesized ever since, as well as have been the center of various books and movies. But it's still one of the oldest unsolved mysteries to the day.